#1. Oh, this is Disco Jam today, baby. Ha ha! Pop that collar. Let's rock, KC and the Sunshine Band. We're going to take you back to the 70s, baby. Oh, with the big afro. I'm your boogeyman, I'm your boogeyman. Turn you on, I'm the boogeyman, I'm the boogeyman. Do what you want.
And I got to get that out there. I don't own the rights to that music before I forget to say that. That way it's documented. And before I get I didn't know it was coming like that. I thought I was doing the intro, then the music was coming. So, you know, it's all right.
Well,
okay.
I totally be prepared for a lot of surprises tonight. Yeah. And so I'm sure.
The lad, we're going to be talking about so many wonderful things. He was a former high school gym teacher for 35 years, a little over 35 years. He's also a state basketball winning head coach back in the 90s. Absolutely. He's a good friend of mine. He's a mentor. He's a motivational speaker. He's an author of 2 books already that are published, and we're going to be discussing those and more on the way. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you my friend and yours, Mr. Emery Cook. Mr. Cook, Disco Dan, welcome to the lab again. How do you feel?
I feel fantastic.
Give him some thumbs up, give him some hearts.
Yeah, a few thumbs up. I feel great, Coach Clay. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Once again, it is always a pleasure being here with you and Lady Shay. That was just so awesome. I love the way you guys bounce back and forth off each other. I mean, these guys are the best in the business, so it's always a pleasure to come on your show and also to watch you when I'm not participating. So thank all of you out there for joining us this evening, be it live or maybe if you catch the program later on. You're guaranteed to really smile tonight. You're going to have a lot of fun.
We are going to have a lot of fun. This is normally what I would ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself. But I mean, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, but you got to tell us about Disco Dan.
Disco Dan.
You see, he got his collar popped.
My new book, Over the Tracks, is set in 1970.
Okay.
The start of disco. And so we're coming out of that 60s when we had our funk and I'm not necessarily funk, but a lot of the soul and rock and so forth and so on. But man, when that disco ball dropped and that strobe light started turning,
that was something
and
else,
those afros started to grow, and the Jackson 5 was live, and Earth, Wind, and Fire was coming through, along with what's my man, Lionel Richie and the Commodores. Oh, my. It was a whole nother bag of tricks. So that was the start of Disco Dan. Disco Dan with his disco whistle and his glasses.
Check out them glasses.
And his jewelry. Okay. As we're up having a great time dancing and partying and having and so my book, Over the Tracks, is set in 1970. Started at the start of disco and that type of era. So it gives you a great feel of what life was like back there, the urban setting. That was one of the phases of the term ghetto fabulous. We don't like to use that word ghetto a lot, but we're going to use it for tonight just for historical sake. Wherein we had the big afros with the fedoras on top, the rabbit with the feather and the rabbit fur in the front, and the rabbit fur mink, and all collared shirts was just open, kind of sexy there.
There you go. Look at it. Disco Dan was a friend of mine.
Disco Dan, and so the book gives you all of that historical, what it was all about during then on the street, if you were in the clubs, not even if you were in the club, but just the whole atmosphere of how life was in the 70s. And so your John Shaft, your Superfly, your the Mac, Coffee, Sheba Baby, all of those movies, they call them blaxploitation movies. We'll get into that a little bit later. Foxy Brown, that whole genre of music, film, culture is all in this book. So it gives a lot of historical background and reference to the culture during the 1970s.
So how would I ask you this? What if someone who didn't watch you on in the lab the very first time you were here, and they see Disco Dan sitting here right now, and they're like, this guy has 2 books. I know he's got more in him. He may possibly bring more out to the public, and I want to be just like him when I grow up. What kind of advice would you give them?
Wow. That's a great question. Number one, you need believe. Believe. And I'm gonna piggyback into some other areas of belief. But number one, you need to have confidence and believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. And if that's for a young person, so let's take it all the way back to 6th grade.
Okay, that's
You
a good
know,
grade.
that's like around 12 years old. And one of the books, the first book, Hiding in the Light, starts with Joseph Graham at around 10, but then it builds real fast till he's around 12 years old.
Okay.
And it's a good age, but it can be very difficult because now you're trying to find yourself. What is it that you want to do? Is it sports? Is it band? Is it music? Is it chorus? Is it acting?
Yeah.
What is it that gives you the most joy and pleasure in life outside of being with family and friends? So, but whatever that is, believe in yourself. I grew up, you know, my first book, Hiding the Light, I grew up very poor. My first 14 years were dirt poor. And I mean that physically because I lived on rocks.
Wow.
My street was one of the few streets in my town that was not paved.
Wow.
It was, and I lived in a cinder block house. Yeah, and can you imagine? I lived in Florida, a cinder block house in Florida in the summer.
Yeah.
It would get so hot in the house that the heat from our bodies would evaporate up to the ceiling and sweat back on us, drop water back on us. It was
Wow.
that warm in the house. Each day, my clothes was dusty from just the dust from the rocks. I ate beans and rice and pig scraps every day. And I'm not talking about pork chops or ham. I'm talking about pig ears, pigtails, pig knuckles, hog maws.
Yeah.
You know, we Southerners, that was every day. And so, but I was determined to get off those rocks. I was determined to live a better life. I was determined to make something better of myself. So that's the dilemma that Joseph is facing in this second book. Are you going to succumb to your circumstances, or are you going to rise above them?
I like that.
See, you can make it if you make that choice that I'm going to rise above. I don't care how hard it is. People have came out of much tougher circumstances than I have. I'm just giving you mine. And if I can come from that to be a Division I basketball player,
There you go. Yep.
a college degree, a master's degree, being a championship basketball coach, and some would say teacher as well, but a championship basketball coach, and be inducted into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame.
Okay.
That means you can do it too, no matter what your circumstances are or what you came from. So in book number 1, there's a very influential teacher, Mr. Thompson. And Joseph discovers Mr. Thompson in 7th grade because Mr. Thompson spoke to whatever that was inside of Joseph.
He saw that spark.
So that's part of one of my speaking platforms, Release the Light. Everyone has light within him or her. What is your light? What is it that you want to be? What is it that you want to become? And let that light shine. See, people try to shade your shine, as one of Coach Clee's books says. No shade, all light. I want to say that again. No shade, all light. So don't let others shade your shine.
Absolutely.
You shine on anyway, irregardless of who that is that's trying to shade you. And it'll be difficult. It'll be tough at times. It ain't going to be all rosy. But once you get on the other side, That's your testimony, your test. See, they're testing you. You can't have a testimony without a test.
Sure can't.
So that's just a test. That's just a trial. See, you're gold. You're pure gold. But have you ever seen gold come out of the earth? Can't do nothing with it.
It's rough and dirty.
It's rough. It's a rock. Can't do. But when it goes through the fire, when it goes through the heat, and it's melted down, see, it's being tested. And now, when it comes out on the other side, cooling, now it's worth millions. And that's what you are. But you have to believe that within yourself. And hopefully you'll have another higher authority that when you feel you can't make it, you can fall back on him and say, God, I need you. I need your help. I need your strength. I need your guidance.
Preaching the gospel.
I need your patience. I've carried this ball as far as I can for right now. I need you to carry it for me. And that's going to give you the strength to go on when you think all hope is lost. So I did it, and I'm sure you can do it too. Release your light so that others can see it. It's all around you.
That's inspiration right there.